Are Skink Skirmishers any good in patch 6.3? A lot of people say no, and my position is to have realistic expectations and take them for the budget option they are. They get better if you use them better, but people love chameleon skinks, and those are indeed good. I'll go over how you can get by with the less stealthy option. Recruit for 400 gold and 100 upkeep, or the same as a cohort with javelins. On Ultra this gets you 120 entities with 6,000 health between them. That's important, because there just plain aren't a lot of 120 entity missile units in this game. Armor is 30, and people might assume it's less, but it's 30, seriously. Leadership is 50, which is not that high. Speed 48 for normal movement, charge speed 52. Melee attack starts at 16, and in these demo combats lacking campaign text, their normal melee does not inflict poison, but that's not a big deal. Attack interval 4.3 isn't particularly slow, no splash damage. Melee defense of 14 is legit bad. Weapon strength 25 is split base 20, and armor piercing 5 could be worse. Charge bonus is 8, and mass is amazingly low at 70. In short, they shouldn't be meleeing much better than Empire archers. On the other hand, they should be meleeing Empire archers rather than getting shot by them, if the enemy is on skirmish mode. And I show that for emphasis. For ranged, ammunition comes at 26 volleys, range 70, official strength given as 13, but each dart inflicts poison. Actual hits inflict base 6 and armor piercing 2 per hit, which seems low and is low. It's 1 dart per puff. Reload time 6 seconds default, total accuracy 20, calibration distance 45, calibration area 3.6 meters, so it is emphatically not a pinpoint accurate weapon, penetration cap small, max targets penned after the first of 2, so tightly packed targets can suffer bonus damage. The unit counts as a skink for spawn-kin mechanics, has primal instincts for fighting when at low health, if it fights at all, has vanguard deployment, fire whilst moving, fires 360 degrees around it, which is critical to using it, and can hide in forest. So, near Kroq-Gars they'll have causes fear, and with a tech that can morph to plus 5 melee defense on top of that. Skinks are aquatic and will brawl better in water for what it's worth. In the redline skills, 3 pips of Skirmisher offers melee defense plus 6, kind of wanted here. Weapon strength plus 12%, not that it's their focus. Missile strength plus 8%, which is their focus. Spawn Kin gives rank 7 survivors, leadership plus 5, melee defense plus 5 again, and missile resistance 15%, which is useful. In the tech tree, there's a lot going on. Tablet of the Skinks instantly slaps on plus 20% ammunition, poison for melee attacks, and recruitment cost minus 10%. Skink spawning gives plus 2 recruit rank. Sequence of quickness gives speed plus 10% and melee defense plus 3 again. Sequence of skirmishing gives missile strength plus 10% and range plus 10%. Sequence of Purpose gives enhanced spawn kin for that plus 5 melee defense with Kroq-Gars, and plus 10% weapon strength besides, and Skink Invigoration for minus 20% fatigue buildup and minus 10% upkeep. In addition to this, Rite of Sotek, while active, would give them melee attack plus 10, weapon strength plus 15%, and ammunition plus 20%. So in such a state of agitation, even quote-unquote skink skirmishers are a threat in melee. So how do we use skink skirmishers? First off, there's no question chameleon skinks are better lizard for lizard, dart for dart, but for a cheaper cost, you get 33% more skink skirmisher entities. Second, if within proper range, the sheer quantity of blow darts is a big deterrent to a lot of ranged harassers, and poison is poison. Your Sora Senpais appreciate the enemy debuff. It helps. In the end, it's all in the name. Skirmishers are meant to wear the enemy down and diminish them, preferably so others can help beat them over the head. They either can overwhelm enemy missile units, or not. But if they go in that deeply, they'll make the enemy pay every moment they're allowed to fire. Their very presence is a damage over time effect on the enemy. They're not necessarily winning because they're stronger, but they're just too damned many of them to keep them away before a missile unit is forced to reposition or gets sucked into melee combat. And even against an inferior quote-unquote opponent, that's going to cost valuable firing time. The way skirmishers win against missile troops is by entities not engaged in melee blowing a few extra darts and inflicting poison. For them, reload time is as easy as breathing because it is breathing. Retreat means immediately firing darts behind them as they break contact. I'm not sure there's a proper name for this, but I'll call it missile cycle charging. These might be 70 mass weaklings, but collectively they pack more of a punch than you'd expect. Ultimately, it's rare in a battle they can exhaust all their ammo, but if they do, they've done good. That must involve a lot of running circles around slower enemies. More often, they are faced with miserable choices against faster opponents and are frequent ganking targets. So, what to do? First, they can work with fellow skirmishers, especially pterodon riders. They can work with heroes, much improved with stealth Scar veterans, and with roving cavalry assistants, especially air cav in the form of ripperdactyls. Second, they can just put themselves in positions where it's objectively wasteful to shoot at them instead of other targets, letting them shoot for longer. Without special resistances, it's helpful to just make the enemy fire at something else that's more valuable to them. Third, it's kind of difficult to act as bait if no one can see you, so bait is a natural role for skirmishers over chameleons. Try to work with this and get value for them, but in the end, they really are the "I'm helping" meme, and if you do it right, they really are. Take care, and have fun turning enemy Skaven into your personal dartboard.